She auditioned for one of the biggest franchises in movie history, and she lost. The role was Bella Swan in Twilight. The studio was searching for someone who could carry an entire saga, someone millions of fans would fall in love with. She read for the part. She didn't get it. At the time, nobody thought twice about it. She was just another young actress who didn't make the cut. The role went to Kristen Stewart, and Twilight went on to become a global phenomenon. For most actors, that kind of rejection ends careers before they even start. You lose the role that could have made you a household name, and you fade into the background.
But less than a year later, something happened that nobody saw coming. A new franchise was being cast. A dystopian story about a girl forced to fight for her life in front of the entire nation. The studio needed someone who could be fragile and fierce at the same time. Someone audiences would trust with their loyalty for years. They found her. Jennifer Lawrence walked into the audition for The Hunger Games as a relative unknown. She walked out with the role of Katniss Everdeen, a character that would define a generation of young adult cinema and turn her into one of the highest-paid actresses in the world.
But here's what most people don't know. Getting the role wasn't the end of her doubts. It was the beginning of a new one. Jennifer Lawrence has said that when Hunger Games was offered to her, she almost turned it down. Twilight had already shown the world what that level of fame could look like, and she wasn't sure she wanted it for herself. She's spoken about wanting to do smaller, meaningful films, not become, in her words, the most famous person on the planet. That kind of fame felt like a different life than the one she had pictured. In interviews since, she's admitted that if she had landed the Twilight role instead, she believes she would have been miserable. So she said yes to Hunger Games, but not because she chased fame. She said yes almost in spite of it. Here's the part most people miss. If she had gotten the Twilight role, she wouldn't have been available for Hunger Games. The franchise that made her a star only happened because the other one didn't.
Losing wasn't the end of her story. It was the reason the rest of it was even possible. Within a few years, Jennifer Lawrence had an Academy Award. She had one of the highest-grossing franchises of the decade attached to her name. And it all traces back to a single audition that didn't go her way. It's easy to look at someone's success and assume it was inevitable, that they were always destined to be a star. But her path proves something different. Sometimes the opportunity that feels like the one that got away is actually clearing space for something bigger. She didn't become Katniss Everdeen despite losing the role of Bella Swan. In a strange way, she became Katniss Everdeen because of it.